Last year's Honor 7X was an impressive outing combining trendy features with a competitive price tag. Its successor Honor 8X tried to one-up Honor 7X by having a more powerful chipset for better performance and bringing new features. And these all are done at the same aggressive price point. For 15,000 Honor 8X seems to be a good deal, but we will find out if its performance makes it phone worth considering. When you consider the price, it's remarkable that the Honor 8X looks so sleek with its glass metal construction. It's a complete change in direction from the Honor 7X aluminum body. The stylish appeal to the glass is as it features a two-toned look with a shimmering effect as light bounces off the surface. You wouldn't believe that a low-cost phone could look this good. What's particularly nice about the phone is that it feels relatively easy to handle despite its smooth glass surface. Surprisingly enough, it's not slippery and produces less fingerprint smudges compared to other glass phones I used. And while there should not be counted out that it's a two-hand device considering how relatively big it is. The Honor 8X may be a budget-friendly device, but it offers a welcome nice 3.5 headphone jack, a dual camera, a rear-mounted super quick fingerprint sensor, a face unlock feature which is also very quick. But the single downside to this design is that it's opt to keep a micro USB port instead of the newer and more convenient USB-C port. Last year's Honor 7X already boasted a sizable 5.9 display, but the Honor 8X pushes the bounds even further by featuring a huge 6.5-inch 2340 into 1080 full view display with an aspect ratio of 19.5:9 thanks to that notch. There are certainly no issues whatsoever when it comes to details. However, the display itself offers oversaturated color tones similar to AMOLED as a default setting, but you can tune it from settings according to your taste. Honor 8X peak brightness output is around 480 to 490 nits, and it's not so reflective panel so that it's decently visible under direct sunlight. And its nearly borderless design with small chin and all-around small bezels make it a really good media-centric device. Huawei's new octa-core Kirin 7 chipset powers on 8X and it runs smoothly for the most part considering I have the 4GB variant. You can see the performance score of the Kirin 710 in the Antutu benchmark, as you can see that it is very close to the Snapdragon 660. For helping the processor perform better for 3D gaming, Honor 8X has GPU Turbo and Gaming Suite. These are software features that helps it to push the GPU further. It can handle it as 3D games just like any other phones at this price point, but you should expect some or more frame drops compared to the phone running with flagship chipsets. Accompanied with 64GB of storage, see there is also a 120GB variant will be available in the future. The Honor 8X also offers expansion through its dedicated micro SD card slot, which is nowadays a rarity at this price point. This is as follows. You can see the gameplay to see how it performs. Why is EMUI or the Emotion UI 8.0 interface is the skin used over Android 8.1 on the Honor 8X. It is not the worst Android skin around. For most part, if you have used any of the other Chinese manufacturers skin. It's very similar to that, whether it's MUI or anything. But definitely it is better than the color OS used in the Oppo devices. The big problem with the interface is that it rarely gets the update. It is very slow to update the software. But if you're not a person who is looking for faster updates, EMUI is a pretty decent Android skin with decent features and a very smooth performing Android skin. It also comes with some bloatwares which you will not use, but it's very common with these Chinese manufacturers to include their own softwares in the phone. As I mentioned, the Honor 8X already has a 3.5 headphone jack. Uh, it's a pretty decent performer, but if you go into settings and use the Huawei's uh, sound settings for highest 10, you can get a better output from the 3.5 headphone jack. But its loudspeaker is not that great, and I will put a clip so that you can check it out yourself. Call quality of the device is pretty good. I have asked the receiver also, so I have no issues from my side, and the receiver also has no issues with that. It has a pretty decent noise reduction algorithm to suppress the surrounding noise when you are attending a phone call. It comes with a 3750 mAh battery, so having a big factory means that it has a pretty good day-to-day endurance. But the thing about this is that it can give you 6 to 7 hours if you are a heavy user and finish the battery in 1 or 1.5 days or whatever. But the best thing about the phone is the ability to have a great standby time because of the processor used and the emotion UI. When I use this phone as my second device for last 1 week, I haven't charged it again. It is still running at 30% and has almost ran for 4 days on the standby time. I'm still using sometimes Wi-Fi and also is connected with the BSNL device or the BSNL SIM rather. So it, as I mentioned, it has micro USB port, but also it lacks quick charging. So it takes almost 3 hours to fully charge the device. So that's a con. I mean, having a bigger device mean you need fast charging to top up it quickly. When you talk about the camera, Honda X has a dual camera on the back with 20 MP f1.8 aperture main camera and 2 MP secondary one. On the front, it has a 16 MP f2.0 camera. When you look at the app, Huawei talks or Honor rather talks about the AI features. It has able to detect scenes and it aims to adjust its second settings accordingly. But even though there is a heavy of shooting modes and features, we wish there was an auto HDR option. I cannot understand why Honor or Huawei cannot put a auto HDR option for the phone or a HDR option easily able to toggle on the camera interface itself. You can see how the AI works here. When I show it a plan, it shows it is planned and click the images. Let's see it. Usually this AI boosts the colors, so if you don't like it you can turn off the AI and share the pictures, but if you use AI it is more like an Instagram worthy picture with a great saturation. uh, the camera does not have any shutter lag, at least on the daytime at least. As I mentioned, this comes with a bevy of features. That is just a promote slow motion panorama, airlines, light painting, HDR times, filter, etc., etc., and lot of things if you want to take different photos. So if you talk about the image quality on data, the Honor 8X performs great during sunny days. It has lot of details, but if you use the AI camera, there's a chance that you might not like the pictures if you don't like oversaturated pictures. As I mentioned, the AI camera pictures are perfect for social networks, that is good for sharing in Instagram without any editing. As a person who like editing like me, I like to do some touch-ups before I post it on Instagram. So I usually turn off the AI, but it's not bad. It just that it feels a little bit artificial, and it can take a pretty good macro shots also. Portrait mode shots are pretty good. I think it does really good in the person mode, or whether it is a portrait mode. You can see it actually detects the subject and has a great depth. You can see from the last picture, even as the busy background, it has great portrait mode. In the low light or night mode, in the low light situation, if there's enough light, it can actually give decent pictures. But when light gets really low, the image quality is really poor. It softens the images. Sometimes it takes some time to take the picture, showing it is sharpening the photo. It causes a blurring of the shot. I think I don't understand why there is showing this sharpening the photo, but as you can see, it can produce decent to good images at low light, but at extreme low light, it suffers. Selfies are pretty good. I mean, it has details, but I feel it is too over sharpened for my liking. And sometimes beauty mode, even if it turned on, it shows a softer skin. The night mode on this camera is amazing. I have taken these pictures at midnight and it looks amazing. I have shot these images handheld, and through AI it somehow take blur free pictures even though it is long exposure shots. If you talk about the video is always Achilles heel for Honor or Huawei devices. This one shoot maximum 1080p, 60 fps or 30 fps. It does not have OIS or EIS, so you can expect a shaky footage. And when you take out the front camera, it can also record 1080p, but you have to make sure that the beauty mode is turned off. Otherwise, it will be showing 720p resolution only. Also, this phone also has 480 fps super slow mode. I will be putting samples for rear camera, front camera, and for the slow motion also. You can check out the quality yourself. Hi guys, this is the rear camera sample of Honor 8X. Let's do the focus test. Hi guys, this is the front camera sample test of Honor 8X. To conclude, at launch Honda is priced at 15,000, and at this point it's a decent offering for those on a tight budget. Yes, it has its shortcomings like a weak speaker volume and camera soft images under low light, uh, but it looks and feels like it should be priced higher, and on top of that you are getting phone with a fingerprint sensor, a headphone jack, and a good looking giant screen. So for basic you Honda Tex is perfectly capable of satisfying consumers on a budget. Thank you for watching the review.